Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Yuppies for the Guppies in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled, "I gave my friend first aid on a sensitive area." This happened the other day. I was at a pool party at my best friend Greg's house. There was also a slip and slide set up and people were using it. My friend Amy used it and screamed. The whole party turned to her and she was clutching her breast with blood pouring out of her hand. She had slid over a rock and cut herself. I'm in nursing school, so I ran over to her and asked to see the cut. She pulled her hand away, and I saw that it did not look too serious, but definitely needed attention. I turned to Greg and asked him if he had a first aid kit, and he said yes, in the bathroom inside the house. So I walked Amy into the house and grabbed the first aid kit. I paused for a second and asked her if she was okay with me helping her or if she wanted to do it herself because of where the cut was, and she said, "No, I trust you and I want your help." So we went into the bathroom and washed out the cut. I looked at it more closely to make sure it wasn't serious. I put some Neosporin on it and bandaged it up nicely. Amy thanked me and we went back outside. A couple of women came up to Amy and asked if she was okay, and one of them, Sarah, gave me a dirty look and they kind of led her away. I went back to where I was sitting and Greg sat next to me and said, "Some people were talking bad out here. I did my best to defend you, but I figured you should know they were talking bad about you helping Amy." I asked him what he meant, and he said that Sarah was saying it was creepy how I sprang into action when I saw an opportunity to play with a boob, and a few of the other women and one guy agreed and were making fun of me. I was pretty upset about that, but I didn't want to make a scene, so I just ignored it for the time being. Later that day, I was sitting by the fire pit and Sarah was sitting across from me and nobody else was around the area, so I asked her why she was making fun of me for helping Amy. She said, "I guess that was a little mean of me. I'm sorry that I did that, but I just thought it was kind of weird how you saw her boob was hurt and you ran up to her and insisted on helping. I know you're in nursing school, but I think you should have let a girl handle it. We all know first aid too." I thanked her for her apology and I don't like confrontation, so I just said, "Alright, I guess I'll keep that in mind from now on." Edit, I stepped away to go to work and this post blew up. Thank you all for your judgments. I think I did the right thing by helping her in this situation, and Sarah was really kind of a jerk here. Also, I realized that Amy might not know that they were talking badly about me, so I'm going to call or text her and inform her about all this. Edit 2. I called Amy and asked her how the cut was healing. She said it was healing well and she was keeping an eye on it. Then I asked her if she knew about the things Sarah and the others said about me and what Sarah said at the fire pit. Amy had no idea. She said the other women were asking her if she was okay and what happened and all that, but she assumed they were worried about the injury, not my helping her. Amy was absolutely pissed and went to the friend group chat and called out the people who were talking badly, especially Sarah. Sarah and the others apologized to me in the group chat, but Amy kept going and said I shouldn't accept their apologies because they sat back and talked badly about the one person who stepped up and helped her. Amy also asked Greg not to invite Sarah to the next pool party, and Greg readily agreed. A few of the others tried to say that was too far, but Amy just told them to shut up and do something next time someone is hurt instead of sitting on their ass and insulting me. Update. So that last post blew up real hard. I saw it on TikTok, came back to this account, and had like 20 followers. I realized enough stuff happened and there was probably enough demand for an update post. Greg followed through on not inviting Sarah to the next party. She was upset about it, but accepted it. Then 2 days after that party, she called me and asked if we could meet in person and talk. I said okay, and we met at a Starbucks. She looked really sad and apologized to me profusely. She said that she doesn't know why she said those things about me. She thinks she was ashamed of being frozen in fear when Amy got hurt and just took out that shame on me by insulting me, but that it was incredibly wrong to do because accusations like the ones she threw at me, even if they were jokes, could ruin my entire career, and it was so wrong of her to do that just because she was ashamed of herself. She seemed genuinely remorseful, so I forgave her and we are friends again. I told her I would talk to Greg about letting her back into the parties, but she said not to. What she did was super wrong, and she doesn't want to come back until Amy forgives her too. I said okay. We hugged and I went on my merry way. A couple of days after that, I was hanging out with Amy at my house and we talked about the Sarah situation. I showed Amy the previous post and asked her if we should show the others. She said yes, so I showed everyone including Sarah, and she was a little upset at first but quickly accepted it. Amy forgave Sarah a few days after that, and Sarah was invited to the 4th of July party 2 days ago. We had a great time. Sarah was a little awkward at first at this party, but quickly cheered up once we assured her that the drama was behind us and that we accepted her apology. We quickly moved on to joking about it, including Sarah pretending to slice open her boob with the dull side of a butter knife, saying, "Hark, mine tender breast, it doth been sliced open like a ripe melon. Whom's it ever will save me?" Then she ripped off her bikini top and leapt into my lap. To be really honest, that firmly put the issue to bed because everyone at the party was laughing for a good hour. So yeah, everything worked out in the end. I just wanted to put a cork in the story because when I saw it on TikTok, I realized how much people enjoyed it and thought it would be prudent to let people know that it had a definitive ending. Dead Letters Society said, "Honestly, I think it is creepier that people are mocking the OP for it and implying there is something sexual going on when the OP was just making sure the person was okay." To this, Soth Dargard said, "Yeah, so I assist in surgery. We see naked people all day, every day. There is just nothing erotic or sexual about a situation where someone is injured or ill. Even beautiful people are just patients." Agrophysicist said, "This reminds me of a time when the ex-wife, 2 other couples, and I went tubing. One of the guy's girlfriends got blasted off the tube and was just floating face down when we reached her. I was driving the boat, mind you. I waited for about 2 seconds, and when nobody did anything, I jumped in and got her out of the water. She was fine overall. She just blacked out, I guess. I didn't do CPR or anything, I just swam her to the boat. Man, my ex-wife was pissed at me the whole weekend. She kept asking why I had to save her. I was like, I don't know, but when someone's face down in the lake, I'm not gonna wait to draw straws." This next post was made in the AIO subreddit by a user named Severe Ad. The post is titled, "I got pissed that someone had sex in my truck at the dealership. I'll make this short, but I can always add more as this is a long story. My new truck developed a leak just under 12,000 miles, so I scheduled an appointment at the dealership. After 3 weeks, I got it back with a horrible smell inside and a driver's seat that clearly has stains, not swamp ass, as it has been cold here. My interior door is scratched, probably from a wedding ring. There is a stain on the seat that looks like the woman enjoyed herself. There is a stain on the floor. There is a shoe print on my headliner, makeup on the visor and headliner, deep finger indents on a solid visor. I also found a hair tie and a hair clip in my console that are definitely not mine. The dealership refused to take any accountability and blamed me for the condition, even though it was not like this when I dropped it off. My windows are blacked out as well. I should add that I'm single and work from home, so there is 0 chance it is from me or a cheating partner. After I brought it to the dealer's attention, they cleaned it but did a poor job, so I had it cleaned again by a professional. Update. 6 days ago, I posted about my bizarre situation. After reading the majority of the comments here as well as on social media, I dug deeper into finding reviews on this dealership. There were hundreds of negative feedbacks across multiple sites about damage to customers' vehicles or financial fraud by padding loans without customer consent or knowledge, along with other shady things. The day after making my post, the sales manager at the dealership called me to basically tell me it was the general manager's responsibility, so this call was pointless. The following day, the general manager called me and basically told me it was the sales manager's responsibility, but said he would call me tomorrow or the following day. Neither manager called back. Yesterday, I filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau and with the Attorney General, providing my story. Today, someone from the dealership called and told me they received my complaint from the Attorney General and would like to fix the damaged items in my truck. I told him I need a new driver's seat, a new rear seat cover, a new visor, and a new door panel on my driver's side door. He said that's fine and I can bring it in. I kindly replied that there is absolutely no way I'll be back at their dealership, so he told me they contract with a third-party company that comes to customers' homes to do the repairs. I agreed to that, and now I'm waiting for the third-party repair company to call me to schedule it. I am hoping all goes well, but honestly I'm not holding my breath. He also said they can reverse the thousands of dollars of add-ons that I never agreed to, even if my electronic signature is attached. I wouldn't know because they still have never given me copies despite me asking for 9 months. There is definitely going to be at least one more update regardless of what happens with the repairs. Thanks for your suggestions and support. It gave me the motivation and knowledge to get results. Update 2. 10 days ago, I posted the first update, a correction to the last update. It was not the customer relations person who called me, it was the senior partner at the dealership. He told me that the seats, door panel, and visor would be replaced. Shortly after posting that update, I received multiple calls from several employees saying that replacement was never discussed and that they would clean it up, that I misunderstood the senior partner. I recorded the call and I certainly did not misunderstand. The general manager has been calling me every couple of days, telling me their third-party repair company will be contacting me to clean my truck. I've consistently said I am not in need of cleaning and that cleaning will not remove the damage. In one of the calls with the general manager, he suggested swapping my truck for a new one and I accepted the offer. Shortly after, the salespeople called me wanting to do a trade-in which would cost me thousands of dollars in loss on my new truck, so obviously I refused. The general manager implied a simple swap, not a typical trade-in where they profit by selling two vehicles, but a straight trade, truck for truck. Yesterday, I got the call from the third-party company and sent them pictures of the issues. He confirmed the seats cannot be repaired and must be replaced, as well as the visor and door panel. He informed me he will tell the general manager and I should expect him to call me. Still waiting. I also received a response from the dealership on the Better Business Bureau saying they are working it out with me. They are not working anything out. They are just wasting my time calling every couple of days, trying to get me to agree to a simple cleaning. I'll give it until Tuesday for action. Then I'll be taking the next steps to make this a legal issue. I appreciate your support and suggestions on any next steps to take. 3 months later, OP provided us with a new post. So I bought a new Ford Maverick in surprise at the only Ford dealership in town. I was extremely adamant about not having a service plan or low jack, no add-ons, no extras, no upgrades whatsoever except a factory added tow hitch. The first red flag was when it eventually arrived 6 months later. The dealer tried to charge me an absurd amount for dealer add-ons that weren't even on the truck. Obviously, I refused and they did me a favor by taking off the cost. Next, in finance, I was repeatedly adamant about no service plan and no low jack. It was nowhere in any of the forms I signed. I read every word. I was there for hours and they were annoyed with me. They said neither would be in my loan and that they would email me the electronic copies. I never received them. I got my loan paperwork in the mail weeks later and I was shocked to see nearly $4,000 more than what I signed for. It took months and dozens of calls to the dealer, but they refunded a majority of the service plan and promised a low jack would follow. It never did. Here we are a year later. I have reported them to the Attorney General, Better Business Bureau, and corporate, with zero results. They no longer take my calls or respond. They eventually sent my electronic forms almost a year later, and they absolutely transferred my signature twice without my knowledge or consent. Fraud. There is zero chance I signed these forms. I am not the only one who had fraudulent add-ons in Surprise, Arizona. If you did as well, message me. I may be taking legal action. A small update on the damages to my truck while it was in for warranty work. They refused to take accountability, but I have heard from dozens of other people who had bizarre, unexplainable damages to their vehicles while in for service. I am compiling evidence that this has been happening for years. I have audio recordings of every single interaction with this company from the beginning. They are in such a deep hole and there is indisputable evidence of financial fraud, not just on my loan but on others I've spoken with as well. Can I Fuck a Pirate said, wait, the update is that there is no resolution and the dealership is still getting away with it. Innkeeper said, because white collar crime is mostly a process crime, the onus is on the victim or victims to find all the evidence. Notice how the attorney general is so uninterested. He says, file a lawsuit. Like, dude, this is literally your job. No, we the people have to do the footwork because the only trail the police will follow is a blood trail. Then to this, JD Shu said, but if you falsify documents at a car dealership as a customer, you can bet your ass you will be in jail on fraud charges within minutes of the police hearing about it. SW20 Mike said, I can confirm I am from Surprise and bought a Bronco Sport from Surprise Ford. I attempted to order a Maverick when it was initially released and my order got lost twice. Surprise Ford is garbage. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.